getting upset with your child, but you still want to teach them so the greatness inside can come out, you have to plan. So with my daughter, right? Sometimes she'll comes to me and she'll ask me for help, but she's also asking me to help her with things I've already taught her before. So she'll start, hey, Daddy, you know, I don't really understand how I feel. I think this and I think that, you know, but that isn't even the problem. And she can't get the real problem out. So I tell her, hey, listen, what I need you to do is just go to your room, write down how you feel and what you're trying to say. Because right now, between your feelings and the problem that you want to share, you're unable to get anything out. Now, of course, she doesn't want to go do this, right? Because she really wants me to help her figure out her feelings so I can help her with the problem and then give her a greater solution. She just wants me to do all the work. Basically, that's all she wants me to do. So I'm not going to let you waste my time like that, right? So you go to your room, write this, and then you come back and you're able to express yourself clearly. Guys, before I was doing that, I would get bothered because I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I know you know how to talk. When you're talking about God in the Bible or something you study, when you're talking about health or you're talking about something you're really interested in, you're talking about video games, your friends, you're just nonstop firing, and it's all coming out so effortlessly. And for that reason, I know you're fully capable and you're comfortable with talking to me about most things. So what's the issue right now? The issue is that you didn't take the time to put in the work to understand yourself. So I had to put a plan in place because when we know our kids are capable of something, it's very easy for us to get frustrated with them, right? And that plan was separate yourself, prepare yourself so I can be of assistance to you. Now, if you fail to plan, you can't pivot. And if you can't pivot, you're definitely going to panic. And I want to break this down to you guys because I have 7 steps that I'm going to give you for planning when having a conversation with your kids. But if you don't understand the importance of pivoting and planning, then you're definitely going to panic. So let's look at panic really quick. Well, something we don't want to do. There was a man, I'm pretty sure you've heard of him before. He's no longer with us, Albert Einstein. And he said, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, then you don't understand it yourself. Basically what he is saying is for those mamas who be in the grocery store, put it down, don't pick it up, I'm gonna snap you in it. Why are you asking these stupid questions? I see it all the time. I'm like, yo, why you yelling at the kid? Don't be asking dumb questions. They don't make no sense. Oftentimes, the reason we react that way is because it's very frustrating whenever we can't answer a question to someone who we really want to be able to answer the question to. Like, really think about this. This is a little psyche right here. Parents, we know that we are the head. We know we're the leader. And sometimes that can work up our ego because to a little kid, we're looked at as superhero. But then when they get a little older and they realize we don't got all the answers, you know, and Google become their best friend, it kind of diminishes the view that they have on us and they begin to make us look a little more human in their eyes. And inside of us, we want to be the one who can give them all the answers. So you need to understand that and know that it is important for you to plan so you don't panic. But here's the thing, you can't plan for the present. And I'm going to tell you a little more about that. But what you have to do is you have to be in a position to pivot. And if you plan, you can pivot. You see, pivot is basically making an adjustment without giving up your position. You don't want to give up your biblical principles, your morals, your values, your goals. You don't want to compromise on that type of thing, right? You don't want to say, oh, hey, you know, if you're going to have sex, make sure you use a condom. What? Wait, what? That used to blow my mind. I used to hear people in my family say that, hey, look, don't have sex. But if you do it, use a condom. You're giving no sex. Zip, zero. No, like there ain't no compromising, ain't none of that stuff. The best protection is none. Wait, let me say that differently. The best protection is no sex, not no protection. Gotta be careful. Pivot is, if you think about basketball, right? Think about basketball. Whenever somebody is playing basketball, there's a rule that you can't travel. So if you get the ball, you can walk with the ball, run with the ball as long as you're bouncing it. But as soon as you stop bouncing the ball and you hold it still, you can no longer gain any more ground. You have to hold your position. But you don't want to panic while you're holding your position because you may be too far to shoot the three. You're not comfortable in that position, right? You may not be close enough to do a layup. And it may just seems like no other teammates are in your line of vision. So what you can do is pivot. That's when the basketball player holds 1 foot still. Think about like a clock, right? The clock has a centerpiece and the outer hand, it goes around the 1 all the way to the 12. So the centerpiece is the player's right foot. And the outer hand that goes around and touch all the numbers is his left foot. It is legal for him to be able to make adjustments and look all the way around this basketball court so he doesn't panic and pass the ball to the opposite team. He doesn't panic and throw the ball out of bounds. He doesn't panic and travel. He keeps that foot still. He looks around to make the right decision because he already had a plan in place to what? To be able to pivot by keeping that 1 foot still, which is in the center of the clock. So what we have to do is understand how important it is to be able to pivot so we don't panic. But in order to do that, you first have to plan. Yes, that's right. You just can't go into the conversation with your kids, all willy-nilly, not knowing what you're trying to get up out of it, right? And in these 7 steps that I'm going to give you, I'm going to show you how to truly get a good plan in place so you're being set up for success. They're being set up for success because we all want our kids to win. It reminds me of Moses. So in the Bible, book of Exodus, Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, was talking to him and he was like, hey, listen, you're going to drive yourself crazy, man. What you need to do is you need to put a plan in place. Now, he didn't say the word plan, but I'm using it for, what we're talking about. He said what you need to do is you need to create some type of order. Because you're talking to all of these thousands and thousands of people that are coming to you, you're going to kill yourself. So what he told him to do is he said, you get tens to manage hundreds, hundreds to manage thousands, thousands to manage 10,000s. He created order. Now, in order to do that, Moses had to plan. He didn't want the 10 people that will come to him that had the concerns of the hundreds and the thousands and the 10,000s to be people he couldn't trust. They had to be individuals that he particularly picked out from amongst all of these great people. So guys, it is biblical for us to plan. I'm pretty sure Jesus had plans many times. He would send his disciples across the water and say, hey, I'm going to meet you over there. You think he didn't know it was going to be a storm? You didn't think he didn't know he was going to come walking on water and say, hey, pull up out here, walk on out here, right? When he was asleep on the boat and the storm went crazy and everything, Jesus knew. He knew. He had his hand on the pillow, woke up, ye of little faith, I got this, right? So I believe that planning is something that we need to do. Why is it so important for us? Because I want you to understand this when it relates to pivoting. There's nothing you can do to perfectly plan for the present. And basically what that means is that you only can plan for the future, but when it comes time for you to implement that plan, it is now the present. And there are certain things that's going to happen in the present that's unforeseen. No way you can know because you don't know the future, right? And exactly what's going to happen. Such thing as the AC isn't working, so now it's hot in the house. Your baby won't stop crying, so it's difficult to talk to your teenager because everyone's distracted by the baby. Your coffee is cold or it spills on your lap. You got a headache. They got a headache. We all got a headache. You understand what I'm saying? Attitude. Somebody's hungry, so because they're hungry, they're angry. Give them a Snickers bar or something, right? There are certain things that you just can't plan for because you don't know what's going to happen in that moment. But because you have a plan in place, it is going to allow you to pivot and not panic. Cool? This even goes for people at work or if you're in school, whatever it is, you need to have a plan in place. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to give you these 7 steps for you to have a plan for the conversations you plan on having with your children. I don't want you to go into these conversations blind. So, step number 1, you need to define the purpose of the conversation. We really fail at that oftentimes. Let our kids know this is our focus. This is what we need to be clear on. These are our goals. This is why we're talking. Whether it's for me to teach you something, if it's for us to build a better connection or address any concern that has taken place in the past week, days, or hours. We need to be on a clear ground of understanding of why we're communicating. They need to know this. You know, it's they do it all the time with movies, right? We have a Netflix account, and if you go on Netflix and you click on a movie, at the very top, it tells you what you're getting into. Action. Oh, snap. Drama. Where's the tissues? You know, suspense. I might be a little nervous doing this movie, right? So we want to know what it is we're getting into, and our kids want to know the exact same thing. So it's very important for us to what? Do step number 1 and define the purpose of this conversation. Now let's look at step number 2. You have to choose the right time and place. This is going to be super helpful. This will help your child receive the conversation better. We want to eliminate any distractions. Like we said, that crying baby can get on everybody's nerves. We want to make sure it's the right time. Is it after dinner? Is it right before the shower? Is it right after school, because they have a great window where they're mostly energetic and they tend to be in a very good mood? So pick the right time and place. I remember one time my daughter, she was going through something, and she didn't tell me until like a week later, and she called me early morning, woke me up, and she said, "Hey, Daddy, hey, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, what's up, sugar? Everything okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I was just calling just to call." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She was like, "But can I ask you a question?" I was like, uh-oh. Whenever she say I was calling just to call, and then she say, "But can I ask you a question?" She wasn't calling just to call. There's something big going on. Long story short, she basically was like, "Hey, there's this boy staring at me." And I'm like, "Why do you think he's staring at you?" And she's like, "I don't know." I said, "Well, just take time. Think about it. Why do you think she's staring?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, do all boys stare at you?" "No, maybe he like me, Daddy." I say, "Dang it," right? And she was like in the 7th grade, and I'm like, it done started. Oh no. And I started to panic a little bit. I'm like, what to do? But skipping a lot. End up calling my friend. They gave me some good advice. And what I did is I met with her after school, and I took her to Starbucks. We sat outside in the sun. I had tea. She had some tea. We got cookies, and we just had a good conversation. We laughed. We joked. We got serious. We implemented the understanding of our household. Things that I will not stray away from, or things that I would not lose ground on. So we were able to pivot, and it worked out very well. But I made sure to choose the right time. After school, because it gave me time to plan. It was a time where she still was energetic, and also a good place, away from her bedroom, away from the house, away from where she is going to make other certain connections. Let's not talk about this at school. You're going to be thinking about the boy too much, but you get the point. Pick and choose the right time and also the right place. Now let's go to step number 3. Consider their age and their development. Everybody ain't the same, and everybody isn't you. You got to remember what God wants us to do when we're working with other people, and our kids are, guess what? Other people as well too. He wants us to be humble. He wants us to be considerate. He tells us in Galatians chapter 5, verse 13, that the liberty that he's given us, he wants us to use so we can serve other people in love. And that's exactly what we should be doing. But in order to do that, you have to recognize and know your audience. Your child in this moment, in this conversation, is the person you need to be mindful of. Make sure that your child understands what's happening and that you need them to engage. You want to be able to use age-appropriate language and examples. This is going to help simplify it for them. This is going to help them know, like, okay, hey, they're not belittling me, right? Don't be talking to them like a baby if they're a teenager. Talk to them like they're teenagers, you know? And then also, they don't expect for me to understand the same thing an adult does. So don't talk about bills if they never paid no bills. They don't really understand those things. So make sure that you are considering their age and also their development, where they are currently in life. Now, number 4, anticipate their perspective. Now, I know a lot of people say it's bad to assume. It's only bad to assume if you're going to act off of those assumptions. Really remember that. Because I know when I'm working with my youth, I'm working with parents or different people who I coach, if I've built a relationship with them and I know certain things about them, I can already assume what they're going to do or how they're going to feel about the situation. It's like my daughter, imagine your child. Peanut butter jelly sandwich. You make it, jelly dripping off the side of the bread. They get the sandwich, they eat it, and as soon as they see jelly on the side, they freak out. Oh my gosh, jelly on the side. Like, yo, it's finna go in your mouth anyway, just eat it. But the simple fact that they don't like it, humble yourself and be like, hey, I'm fully aware how they're gonna feel about this right here. I've seen my daughter, we don't drink after people, right? And I've seen my daughter be offered water bottles after somebody put their mouth on it. And she'll be like, oh no, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. And I'm looking like, she knows she wants something to drink. She thirsty. So I grab a water bottle for her. I pull up, she'll be like, oh, thank you so much, Daddy. I'm dying of thirst. I really wanted something to drink. Why? Because I understand how she feels and how she perceives things. So I can anticipate what's going to happen, and you should too. This is going to help your kids feel like you're truly building a space that is of trust and that is of empathy. It's going to help them feel that, that they're respected and their views are of value. So we want to make sure that we anticipate their perspectives when it comes to this conversation and the topic we're going to have when we're creating this plan. Now let's go to step 5. Plan key points. You got to plan key points. If you're the type of parent that actually care about the growth of your child, and I'm pretty sure you do, but sometimes you just be so pissed off, frustrated, and if you don't plan these key points, that anger is going to come out and go wild. And if you are a talker, right, like myself, and you're talking to your child and you're preaching to them and you're giving them the game, as I so call it, then guess what? You may end up talking too much, and that can be a problem too. So what you really want to do is you want to plan key points. Have a mental outline. Avoid random conversations and points. And this also helps because you make sure you don't miss the critical points. There's some things that you need to make sure is said. But if the conversation is going well, because we're on step 5, I'm telling you, if you did 1 through 4 already and we're on step 5, the conversation is going to go well. And because it's going well, you can be so calm and you can be so relaxed to the point where you forget to mention the critical points. And then you walk away from the conversation like, doggone it, I wish I forgot to say this, right? We don't want to forget to say certain things. So jot these things down and make sure that they're actually addressed when we're talking to our kids. So remember, for step 5, plan key points. Now let's go over to step 6. You want to practice active listening. Let your child know that this is a two-way street. This is not just it's not me preaching, right? It's not me doing a seminar. This is us having a conversation. And within this conversation, I need to hear from you. This is definitely going to let them know that you value the way they feel. You value the way that they think. And you also set them up by writing down some open-ended questions. Right? So that's basically a question that they just can't answer yes or no to. And if you do ask a question where they have to answer yes or no, then ask them why, right? But it's better to do it from an open-ended standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think we should do? That's going to require a well thought out answer, right? So ask open-ended questions, put them in a position so they know, oh, this person really does want to hear what I have to say, or they really do want to know what I think about the situation. It's one thing to say it like, hey, look, I want to hear what you got to say. I want to know what you think, versus asking them a question that makes them have to share their opinions and their feelings, and then the way you receive it speaks clearly to them like, oh, I am of value. right? And I do have something to offer. So that's step number 6. Practice active listening. Let's go to step number 7. Follow up. Very important. You want to be able to follow up and reflect with your kids. Plan to do this. Because if you don't plan to do this after the conversation is over, after 1 day or 2 days, you're just like, oh, hey, that went great. I feel good. They feel good. It's been going good for the past 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks. But if you don't follow up, then guess what? Most likely, it will start over again. And it's not because you didn't fail to plan, right? It's just they need help to remember, hey, this is how we're going to operate. Remember what we spoke about. Remember what I taught you. Remember that connection that we made. Remember how we agreed on something, right? So we follow up, because the follow-up within itself is a form of agreement. Like, hey, I'm following up. You remember what we talked about? Yes, I remember. You remember what you said you were going to implement? Yes, I do. So now we have this verbal agreement, right? So it's very important that we do that. We follow up with the conversation. This also helps us ensures progress. We have things we're trying to accomplish, man. We're not just trying to sit here and stay dormant. We want to be content and not complacent. It's very important. Like, a lot of people don't understand that sometimes they're complacent and they're not content. They get the two confused. And what we want to do with our family is we want to be content. Hey, if this is what we have and this is how we're living and this is how we're operating, thank God for it. But we are still to wake up every single morning and strive for the glory of God, strive to become better individuals, strive to obtain more so we can bless more. Do we understand that? So we got to make sure that we reflect with our kids, because we are moving in a certain direction and we don't got time to keep falling back over and over again. It will happen. We will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. But we, just like we do with God, we ask for repentance. God, please forgive me for this. And repentance means, for those who don't know, hey, look, I recognize I did something wrong. I no longer want to do it again, and I'm making a declaration to you that I will not do it again. I am going to live for you, and I am going to live based off the principles that you have given me. Same thing with our household, man. God's teaching us this stuff. In this household, hey, I made a mistake. Yeah, you did? Well, thank you. Like, whenever my daughter comes to me and she say, oh, Daddy, I made a mistake and I did this, or I know you told me not to do this and I did that. I say, okay, I'm proud of you for just coming and telling me, because I know that wasn't easy. Is there anything I can do to help you to make sure you don't make that mistake again? Let me know. That's it. And that's what God wants us to do with him, and that's what we should do in our household. So it's very important that we follow up and we have these conversations with our kids. Now, guys, those were the 7 steps right there. I hope that you implement them, because I know that these things work very well. You see, by planning these conversations, what happens is that you create a safe space, a productive space where it leaves open communication for both you and your children. And this is going to help your child understand that they're fully supported. It's going to help them walk throughout life, really tapping into the greatness that's inside of them. And then on top of all of that, it builds trust within your household. Guys, I love y'all to life, and I hope you always remember, don't live for the blessing, but live to be one. Later. God bless.